Welcome to Radio Essence. My name is Susan Lindberg and I'm recording from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I just finished a book. It is A Wanderer's Handbook by Carla Rackett. I have mentioned it earlier during another recording. In reading that book, I actually find things that I'm teaching but I have never read or heard anywhere else. So it was quite an experience to read it. But it has a lot of spiritual and a lot of religion, the creator in it. It did annoy me until I get to the very end of the book. I start to realize the immense importance of religion. You can take New Age and even psychology under this. Of course, this is just logic, and as well, I've known this before. But this is something I never have got out of my mouth before, because all these things I've taken distance from, and said, "Oh, that's not my path." I can start with the spiritual, the New Age, that you can as well call a kind of religion. I can start with that because that is something I have been involved with the most of these, let's say, three things. And that was during my first years here in the Netherlands. The New Age, the alternative, choosing the spiritual path. I mean, I have learned a lot from being a part and trying out a little bit of everything, having friends in those circles. And actually, I did get my tool that I use from this approach. But it is a world where I see that there are limits. There are limits in choosing the spiritual path, if that means that you divide your life in spiritual and not spiritual. To me, everything you get confronted with in life, if it is a chance of learning and growing. So, in saying you choose a spiritual path or this or that, you can actually avoid certain things. And as a whole, I mean, it's not one institution like a religion. There's so many things, many good things, but there are a lot of traps. And as I told earlier during the story, I got a headache. I just couldn't be in this environment. It was too much flying, and I had to get to earth, to the daily life, to ground, to be a part of what is here, what is. But let's go to the big one, religion. I'm quite happy that I'm grown up in Sweden. It's not to me a country that is anti-religion, but religion takes a very small part. Even if I haven't, let's say, been confronted with that in the Netherlands, it is more religious country than Sweden. If I look at my own life, let's say that maybe still a couple of years ago, when I closed down, it happened by itself, it was just time, a big part of my practice. There was a difference between what I knew and what I could live. And what I wanted since a long time, is to be able to live what I teach. I think it's very important. But let's say my knowing was further than what actually was possible. I think I dare to say that I, at this moment, live as I teach. In that living, there is a big part that I can call faith. And in this sense, faith being something different than believing. In my, let's say, hardest challenges I had in life, in the past where I just couldn't find a way out, I had to make the choice to believe in the capacity I do have to find a way out. And even if my mind said it's impossible, I did choose that faith. That was a moment when, yeah, do I teach this? I have to be able to live according to this. So through those experiences, I live a life where I stay with faith that whatever I am on the right path and do what I'm supposed to do to reach the goals I want to reach. And I can tell you, it's challenging. It's it has its moments. But it's like, have you chosen this once? It's not, there is not much choice. You just have to go on. But this is a faith in my inner ability. And if it's connected to something higher up there, probably the link is there. But at this moment, I stay with the link to this knowing inside of me that I could give the name a higher self or whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's something that has shown itself so many times. I have a couple of decades of experience that if I want change in my life, if I want the direction I so much feel is what should be a part of me, or is a part of me, it should be there, this was the only path to reach it. And suddenly this part of thinking and having a mind and logical, and it had to go. And it's a challenge in this society. It's hard for everyone to start to think like this. So that is my faith of that there is something more, or the, let's say, daily experience of that there is something more. And there comes a kind of gratitude to the function of religion, that it gives people an excuse or a possibility or whatever to experience that there is more than what you face in the daily life of a job, family, money, and there are wars and media and everything we are presented with and absorbed by in a normal life. There are many who have religious experiences, and that when then they come out of faith and interpretation of that experience, you can then have a discussion of who and what and how it is, but just that there is a reason for search for something more, given to all people in life who choose to. And whatever name it has, it doesn't matter. But I do like the thing I heard or I read so many years ago, so I can't even remember what and what the source was. Was it several sources? I don't know. But that in every religion there's a very, very small group of people, and I suppose men, that are knowing and dealing with the truth. And the truth being so powerful, so it has the big secret. So what you get in a church and in what is served through a religion is a lot of indoctrination and the guidance of the masses of people. So the sheep that they are guided. I think I will go into religion deep one time in the future because there's so many aspects to it and things to talk about. And then I have to give thanks to psychology. I mean, when they start out with drugs, I don't know if you're aware of what kind of industry psychedelic drugs is. And it's money, profits. And when we get to that part, I mean, it's a dangerous thing. I have talked about the experience I've had about, for someone, how important drugs were. But I think they are exceptions. But there is, within psychology, the thing of realizing that we are much more, that we are much more than our minds. I used to use the image of a wine bottle, a champagne bottle, that what the psychology is dealing with is the cork and working with that. There is not one sign in that work I haven't found anywhere. I do have read a little bit of psychology, just some books to see what it is about. But there is nowhere to be found that there is something beyond the cork that you can reach deeper. There's a completely new reality when you go through that. So actually, whatever you're dealing with, everything like this world, it's like yin and yang. There's nothing good that doesn't have any bad in it. There's nothing bad that doesn't have any good in it. Like the black spot in the white and the white spot in the black. So even if I do not agree with a lot of things within psychology, it is the place to find out that there is something more than the conscious mind. There is the huge subconscious. And actually how more the subconscious do influence our life more than the conscious mind. And I have that daily. I can tell I have 20 years of ridiculous situation where I find the outside is more like a symbols around me showing what's going on the inside. And if I'm talking like that, it's extreme. But what I can tell in general is that do you have a bad situation, or do you get things in your life that you do not want? Somewhere on the inside there is an opening for these things to enter to your life. There's nothing happening outside yourself that doesn't mirror something on the inside. And that's a conviction I have. And that is a conviction I have that counts for every person. And it doesn't have to go as extreme as it does for me. Like, I haven't been recording now for so much. One reason is that I have been opening my practice. I can't do that with a sign on the door, turning it around and saying, "No, it's open." I have a lot of strange experiences since I started teaching when I was 17. I think I've hardly ever had to cancel a lesson. When it wasn't possible for me to teach, the pupils always cancelled. I have many years of that kind of experiences, but one thing that stays in my mind is when I get home with a friend of mine and we still had to cook and there was no time to eat. I had to give a lesson. And then this pupil phone and is so upset because he has missed the train. No problem, I said. So those kind of things happen to me all the time. The word coincidence is a word that I don't need in my dictionary because I stopped believing in that, let's say a couple of decades ago. It comes a moment when you can't call it coincidences any longer. Then at the time of when I started this kind of work, I've had periods when, for let's say a couple of weeks or so, everything closed. I heard from no one. Nothing happened. If I didn't have a course running, might be, but for the rest, nothing. And that was a time to go within, take a break. And then you hear people. Or I was thinking about you. I wanted to phone you, and I even remember someone telling, I couldn't find your telephone number. So let's say that opening my practice is another kind of work. It's like, I did mention last time, but I could tell about my house and a kind of schedule, but I will just mention one thing, like one cat that I've lost. She was a small Burmese, a dark brown. She used to climb up a tree and then very fast jump down the tree, run through the garden, and she looked like, these fast-running large cat animals in the savannah. I mean, how she ran, and she ran into the house through the cat door. I suppose there is another better word in English than that. But she ran through it without slowing down. So she broke a couple of those doors. Even if she has left me for some years, the cat door wasn't really okay. And I've seen that it should be fixed, but and I think actually her daughter has got a trauma. Probably she was on the inside when her mother ran inside. She's always very strange when she's opening that cat door. But whatever. It broke. So I had to change a door to a new door. And that happening when I'm actually dealing with opening a door or a new door to the outside, to opening a practice, opening a door. And then the screw broke off, and it was quite a challenge, but I managed. But this kind of things happens. So that's a way, and some other things, how I open my practice. If I tell it like that, it sounds crazy, I know that, but I have so many crazy experiences like that. So if you kind of choose to change your perceptive or attention, let's say it's more about attention, other things happen. The lives start to look very different. it gets a kind of other dimension that can be confusing. For a long time have been very confusing. And after some time you find a way. Then all the challenges you get across through life, they aren't there to destroy you, but they are there to make you grow. And let's say that's the best way to grow as a human being. And I might add as well, it gives the possibility to growth. If you get confronted with the same thing time after time in life, you don't know. You still need to learn that certain thing. But now we're getting into another line that I wasn't intended this time. But another reason why I haven't placed more than one recording this year is that I actually have made 3 recordings. The first time I told last recording was that it didn't feel good. I couldn't finish it. So suddenly I got the feeling and I made a completely other one, another subject. The week after, I as well recorded one. And I thought it was quite okay. Compared with the others I've made, it wasn't about the same level. But after that, it didn't feel okay. I just couldn't finish it. So I let it go, and I waited for the moment when I just felt like, oh, let's put on the computer and make a recording. I think it has to do with that what I made last year, there was a lot of thinking involved. There was a lot of mind. My head spun like crazy. I told you about it, and especially in the beginning, it sounded like I was reading a text, but it wasn't. That mind and that thinking is a place where I do not live from. I do not teach from. So some way, I think I have to let it go now doing these recordings. And try to find another way. Let's say that I hope that my speaking here would come from another source, just like when I teach. During that recording, as well, I got into a problem. I noticed that the title of what I give a video influences who listens, who doesn't. And the only title I could give the last one was The Story of My Stomach, something like that. And who will listen to a video called The Story of My Stomach? The thing is that if I called it The Story of My Heart, I think the reaction would be completely different. But the thing is, as a story, I don't say the stomach is more interesting than the heart, but as a story to tell, my stomach has much more of a story than my heart. As well, I mean, it is a combination of information. I mostly don't talk about only one thing. So I decided to call it Radio Essence and the date I am recording. I might as well write a description under the video. But no, I will run out of title of my videos, so I think keeping it to a date of recording is much better. I as well got the idea today. This is for the Dutch-speaking people. Stay in English, but I'm well aware that there are several persons out there who are curious about what I'm doing. And things I can tell here is limited. Because what I hope is that when someone comes here, every person's approach to things and needs are different. So every person's experience here should be different. So there, my possibility to explain stops. I have done in the past some one-day things. So I actually got that in my head, to give the possibility to, in one time, one day, it's superficial, but still a possibility to get to know what my work could mean for you. What I'm thinking about is probably Sunday. I'm not setting a date, and I have two possibilities. I've been thinking about a whole day, working for, let's say, 1.5 hours, take an hour lunch break, 1.5 hour again, take some coffee, tea, and then finish it in 1 hour. It will be then a day working. But the possibility is as well to make it just a little bit longer than a normal lesson during a course. Make a, let's say, 3-hour session with then a longer break in between, just to be relaxed and able to talk and of whatever. And in one time, then probably what you can expect is information. There's something you need to know. A long day could include some work as well, to experience what it is about. I'm not setting any date on this. I will plan as I get reactions. And then I want to hear, is there interest in a long day or a short day? My idea is Sunday, but if there are other suggestions, it's possible. So, if this is of interest, send me an email, radioessence@hotmail.com, and I will plan it as it comes. So I will probably repeat some of this message every time I make a recording. So this is as far as my thoughts bring me today, and thank you for listening. Have a nice day, evening, sleep well whenever you're listening, and